Hi guys, welcome back with the top 10 predictions for Mr. Olympia 2023. So first of all, I want to clarify that this is top 10 predictions based on my assessment of what judges will most likely select. This is not what I personally would like to see in the top 10 for this year. And last but not least, it's my personal opinion. Please do not get offended if you disagree with any of my predictions. As we know, Nathan Diasha and Behrouz Sabani are most likely out of 2023 Mr. Olympia, so there are few athletes who can sneak in and have a solid chance to crack top 10 like Hassan Mustafa, Tonio Burton, Regan Grimes, Charles Griffin, Ross Flanagan as well as Roman Fritz. Justin Shire has a great structure, shape and aesthetics, but in this year's lineup I do not see him in the top 10. I think Regan Grimes has a real chance to crack top 10 as we don't have Ian Valier, Nathan Diasha and William Bonac in this lineup, and Regan has already beaten Roman Fritz and Theo Legeri this year and Tonio Burton in the past, so arguably Regan can be mixed in the top 10. He has added 20 pounds of quality mass on his frame, he has aesthetics, shape and symmetry, so there is a strong possibility for Regan as several athletes have pulled out of the Olympia this year. I have Hassan Mustafa taking 9th place, although he's inconsistent from conditioning standpoint, but in last 2 years he has improved his conditioning. Even though he's not really aesthetically pleasing, but he's mass monster, he has very dense physique, he's very full and round, and I think his sheer amount of mass and gigantic physique will dominate many contestants on stage. He took 13th place in his first Olympia, and now Hassan with improved conditioning will be hard to beat, so yeah, from my standpoint he's going to take 9th place. I have Slovakian rising star Michal K taking 8th place in the Olympia. He's another mass monster in the lineup, but with some exceptional aesthetics and tremendous shape. Personally, I would like to see him higher than Hunter Labrada, as Krizo also believes he will beat Hunter this time. But I think judges really like Hunter's physique, as in the Texas Pro, according to the judges, it was a very close fight between Hunter and Andrew.
With Hunter and Andrew, this was an extremely close show,
and Hunter has made significant improvements this year, so there is a solid reason for judges this year to have Hunter at higher place than Krizo. We saw the best Michal by far in M Pro show. He was very shredded, very crisp and dry, and most certainly he will bring more separation, detail and conditioning on Olympia stage this time. So I don't think he will finish lower than 8th place unless he does not peak well. He has some shortcomings such as little bit wider midsection, his presentation is not on point, maybe he needs more glutes and hamstrings development, but he's a dark horse in this year's lineup and it might be possible he sneaks in the top 6 this year.
What's your goals?
Yeah, back in the top 5.
So I think Hunter Labrada is going to take again 7th place. Definitely Hunter has got the best lineage in the sports of bodybuilding, as being the son of legendary bodybuilder Lee Labrada. His father has so much influence in the bodybuilding, he is for sure one of the best bodybuilders, and Hunter has got very balanced physique, symmetry wise, structure wise, he's no doubt very impressive, and arguably he has one of the best legs in the lineup. Jay Cutler has Hunter beating Andrew Jacked as well as Brandon Curry in Olympia this year.
I think Derek has the best shot right now.
Okay, Hadi second?
Samson, Nick, Hunter.
Even though Hunter was unable to beat the least impressive version of Brandon last year, and Andrew has already defeated by far the most impressive look of Hunter in Texas Pro, so I don't think he will move up in the lineup this year. But as I said earlier, judges really like his physique, so it might be possible he beats Andrew Jacked again, just like last year. But from my standpoint, he will finish behind Andrew this year. I think 6th place will be given to Andrew Jacked. He's one of the most aesthetically pleasing bodybuilder in the lineup. Very beautiful physique, great structure and shape, but he's not as thick as some of the other frontrunners. His legs, especially hamstrings, needs more definition, more development, and I think Brandon is still more superior as a men's open bodybuilder compared to Andrew. Undeniably, Andrew has very pleasing physique, but I think he still needs more size, more mass to fill his frame, and more definition, more details on his lower half, as you can clearly see judges' perspective after Texas Pro. Andrew was losing inside and back shots from Hunter mainly due to his lower half.
Hunter takes this side tricep pose. Even though Andrew's chest is much better than Hunter's, the side chest pose goes to Hunter. This was a Hunter pose for sure. This was a Hunter pose.
I'm a big fan of Andrew's physique, but this year I do not see him in the top 3. I see Brandon Curry taking 5th place in the 2023 Mr. Olympia. Last year he brought much heavier physique, probably 16 pounds heavier, but it was his least impressive look since he won Mr. Olympia, and he dropped down from 2nd place to 4th place last year. Former Mr. Olympia Brandon has been underestimated this year. Many fans in the bodybuilding community do not have him in the top 5. But realistically, Brandon has a lot of thickness, round muscle bellies, beautiful shape and aesthetic lines. He has undeniably world-class shoulders, chest, arms, and insane shoulder to waist ratio. And this year he is focusing on conditioning. He is bringing a lot sharper physique in the Olympia, so I think he won't be lower than top 5 this year. And it's highly possible he fights in the top 3.
Nick is a mass monster. Shape is not his forte. His forte is muscle and conditioning.
With the aesthetic bodybuilders on the rise, I think guys with the least aesthetically pleasing physique are going to have a real hard time standing out against shapely guys like Derek, Samson, Andrew and Brandon Curry. Nick Walker cannot outshape them. Nick is not gifted in aesthetic, structure and symmetry department. His main strength is his freak factor and crisp sharp conditioning, which he brings consistently every time on stage. So he's bringing 5-6 pounds of more mass and sharper look, and he will try to dominate his fellow contestants with his strength, which is mass and conditioning. I think Nick will finish taking 4th place, and if someone fails to peak well, Nick will avail this opportunity to move up in the lineup. Just like last year, he out-conditioned Brandon. I think Samson Daa will be in the top 3. Even many fans have him potentially winning the Olympia this year, and undoubtedly his improvements are mind-blowing. His back looks much thicker and more developed, and recently Samson revealed that he has already beaten his Arnold Classic conditioning when he was 6 weeks out of the Olympia. And undeniably, Samson is very consistent in making improvements in every single show.
I beat Arnold conditioning when I was 6 weeks out.
So I think he will be improved in conditioning department, but I don't think he can out-condition Hadi at least this year, or beat Derek Lunsford in back shots. But he's a heavy hitter to be in the top 3, and I honestly think he can defeat Nick Walker again, as he's very balanced. He has way better structure, symmetry, aesthetics and shape, and he's a lot heavier as well compared to mass monster Nick Walker. So I think the freak factor of Nick is not enough to beat the new and the improved version of Samson Daa. So from my standpoint, Derek Lunsford will be fighting for the 1st place against Hadi Chopan. He's arguably the biggest threat for the title. Majority of fans think he will be the Mr. Olympia 2023. I think he's going to bring drastic improvements this year, but his conditioning is still unpredictable. Head judge Steve Weinberger complained about his legs last year.
Those legs and the chest have to come up on him. If the legs and the chest come up, it's going to be a different story, maybe.
Bodybuilding experts criticize his lack of development in the arms and chest areas, which is still a big question. And after seeing all physique updates from Derek, it's safe to say Derek cannot beat Hadi Chopan in muscle maturity and conditioning department, at least this year.
I mean, this is not spectacular conditioning. That's not something that, oh, this is dry. Dennis, would you assess this?
Yeah, this is not a good condition, yes. I would say like it's 3-4 weeks out, something like that.
He's untouchable in back shots from Hadi Chopan, as last year he was extremely shredded from back, but from front he did not have the same level of conditioning, muscle maturity and muscle definition. This year no one has a really strong grip on the title. I have strong feelings that Derek has solid chance winning the Sandor Trophy this year. For sure he looks extremely dangerous in his training videos leading up to the Olympia. but there is uncertainty if he can bring that look on stage as well. On the other hand, it was least impressive conditioning of Hadi Chopan since 2019 he's been competing in Olympia, but it was still much better conditioning compared to rest of the lineup.
I think last year was not so crazy conditioned as we used to see Hadi.
So presumably Hadi will not sacrifice his conditioning for sake of size. I think he will be crisp and dry, which is his most dangerous tool against his fellow contestants. But if he fails to bring his best, I think Derek and Samson will be vying for the Sandow trophy. I honestly think Hadi will present his best version, and if he brings his all elements together like fullness, density, deep muscle separation, his insane muscle maturity, size and his extreme conditioning, I think he will be the last man standing on Olympia stage.